Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here today. I'd like to call the meeting to order. City of Belleville acknowledges we're meeting today on traditional territory of many nations. We recognize the honor and historic relationship of the indigenous peoples to this land and acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within them. We recognize all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call Belleville their home and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship with them. We look forward to fostering a path towards reconciliation and show respect for the indigenous peoples who first lived and currently live on the land where we now all reside together. Please remain standing for a moment of reflection from our Deputy Clerk.
May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. Help us to be concerned only with what will promote good government. May we bring to council chambers minds that think and hearts that feel, always having respect for others so that we may serve the people of our city in a helpful manner and for the good of all.
Please be seated. Notice and attendance, we all are here. Ask for disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none, I need a motion to approve the council minutes of September 8th, 25th be approved. Councillor Sue, seconded by Councillor Chatton. Discussion from the minutes. On favor, carried. Need a resolution that council rise and go into committee of the whole at 4:02 to hear and consider reports and passing recommendations with resolution with Councillor Carr in the chair, Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. All in favor, carried.
Good afternoon. We'll move to reports. The agenda shall include under reports items that warrant individual attention from council. 8A1 2025-26 Fire Protection Grant and Capital Budget Amendment. Resolution reads that the 2025 capital budget be amended to increase 1.018 tools and equipment by $80,800 to be funded by the Fire Protection Grant. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. Any questions or comments? Councillor Sue.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you. I just want to take a moment to express myself heartfelt gratitude to our fire chief, Smith, and his crew firefighters. Recently, I saw you out training late in the evening while most of us were at home with our families. It was a powerful reminder of the dedication, sacrifice, and commitment you bring to our community every single day. Because of your courage and hard work, we can live in safety and peace of mind. Please know that your efforts do not go unnoticed. We see you, we appreciate you, and we are deeply thankful. So I just have one question about the equipment of bunker gear extractor and decontamination equipment. What is the machine's capacity in pounds, and how many full sets of gear can it handle per load?
Chief Smith.
Through the chair to Councillor Sue, first off, thank you for the kind words, and I'll make sure I pass it along to the team. As far as the extractor and the decontamination equipment, so the extractor is basically a giant washing machine. So it's several hundred pounds, has to be anchored into the floor, otherwise it'll shake all the way across the fire hall. It will wash anywhere from 3 to 4 sets of bunker gear at a time. We do have washing machines of this nature across all of the stations presently, with the exception of Station 4. So this is the last addition that we need to make sure that they have that valuable equipment to decontaminate their bunker gear.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Chatton.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I know how critical it is and how crucial it is to have well-operating internet service, especially for training purposes. And I just wondered, how long have you been operating, Chief, if I may, with internet that does not fully support the ability to do the training at the site? And how much will that help to receive the funding to be able to upgrade that?
Through the chair to Councillor Chatton. Basically, that fire station was built, I believe, in around 2015-ish, and it operated as a satellite hall. So there was never really any firefighters assigned there. So we were able to get by with the internet connection that was there. Recently this year, we've started to staff station number 5 out in Plainfield. So we have people that are assigned there. They're using the station more and more, which is amazing. And now they're even using it for training purposes. So the one difficulty being is the internet connection of there. It's quite slow. My colleague from IT could probably explain it better than I can. But basically we struggle with the Wi-Fi connectivity and any abilities through that service. So it has to do with incident report writing, watching training videos, accessing online documents, even documents we use through SharePoint. It becomes difficult to download them with the connectivity out there.
Thank you. So it's safe to say that that will be a game changer for having this up and running and at a better capacity?
Absolutely, just to do the weekly duties of doing a truck inspection and tracking it on our online system. Firefighters are using their own phones right now, so this will be huge.
That shouldn't happen, so excellent. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you. 8A2, Property Standards Bylaw, refer to item 9.1. Resolution reads that pursuant to the Manager of Bylaw Enforcement's report number MBE CS-2025-24, the draft Property Standards Bylaw be brought forward for Council's approval. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Questions or comments? Councillor Thompson.
Just one on the page 22 of 23, the demolition and repair by the city. So when a property owner is notified, how long do they have to adhere to the bylaw? And once that's done, if they don't, how quick can we get somebody in to rectify the problem within reason?
And we have Bylaw Manager Hill.
Through you, Chair. So truthfully and honestly, it depends on the severity of the problem, but that provision is really in place to make sure that we have recourse for those who will not rectify the property to bring it up to standard or to bring it habitable. We don't like to see buildings sitting empty and unusable. So the intention is to kind of have some backup for us to say, hey, let's bring this up to standard, let's get some people back in it, let's fix everything up. If a building is damaged and boarded up, we will allow it to sit for 6 months under this new bylaw unless the owner can provide us with a firm plan of action for remedy, in which case we can allow us an additional 6-month extension to allow it to sit vacant and boarded up for 12 months, provided active progress is being made. When we can get somebody in after the fact, if they choose not to remedy it, it really depends on the size of the problem and contractor availability.
And I just trying to look at another section. Does this bylaw pertain to property, lawns and stuff like that in yards?
Through you, Chair, we actually have an existing bylaw that we passed earlier this year, the land maintenance bylaw that covers everything outside. This is really meant to be interior maintenance standards.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Enright Miller.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, just a question from Ms. Hill. The fine section, every owner who fails to comply with an order that is final and binding is guilty of an offense on a conviction is liable for a fine of not more than $50,000 for a first offense and a fine of not more than $100,000 for a subsequent offense. This bylaw is very robust and it does touch on everything. The fines, I was just curious, is that pretty much standard for municipality? And maybe walk us through how we get to the fine stage. I'm sure there's a lot of there's a lot of steps in between there. If you could just elaborate on that a bit, if you would.
Yeah, so through you, Chair, the bylaw as it's presented tonight doesn't actually have any set fines in it. Those are guidelines and maximums for us for when we proceed through a court charge, which we often refer to as a Part 3 or a summons or an information, you might have heard them called before. But there are so many steps, and we will make every active effort to avoid that, truthfully and honestly. The only time that we will really get there if it's repeat and recurrent non-compliance, or if it is paired along with the demolition, because at that point we have exercised every effort that we can to ensure compliance with this and get it brought up to standard. Because again, we don't like to see buildings sitting empty. We don't like to see residences empty. So if we can get them up to standard, get people back in there, or get them habitable at least, that is always going to be our preference. So we will also start with friendly compliance. Any opportunity we can, we will send an order if we have to. And if there's something that can be easily remedied, then we will proceed with a remedy as opposed to a fine on the first offense. And then we can look at escalated enforcement after that. But it is always the last resort for us.
Councillor Kelly.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Thanks for the report. A lot of stuff in this. And I was looking at your conclusion in your report. It says the proposed changes are intended to strengthen regulations regarding maintenance and occupancy standards while setting a realistic standard that can be maintained in our city. So in the report, it covers all different clean yards, littering, noise, property standards, and short-term accommodations. So there was 5 labels, if you will. That's right.
Through you,
My
Chair, if I can
question's
just-
coming up.
Sorry, if I could just
So
offer
there was
a
5
quick-
categories.
No, if I could just offer a quick correction, that's just what the ad hoc bylaw review committee's mandate
Okay.
was. This is only specific to the property standards bylaw.
Okay, so the question is, we still, or I can't speak for the others here, but I still get a lot of emails sent to me about properties in our homes, in our city. Some would pertain to parking and cleanliness. Is that something your department deals with? The majority of the complaints coming in from neighbors or city residents is, there's too many vehicles in my neighbor's yard, and what do we do about that?
Through you, Chair. So I can't say if it's the majority off the top of my head. We do get a lot of complaints about vehicles parking on a lawn or on soft landscaping, which isn't permitted, and it wasn't permitted under the existing bylaw, and it's not permitted under this bylaw. The volume of that is very difficult to say. What we can do about it is we can issue the order, we can force people to take it off the property. Obviously, if friendly compliance doesn't lead to that resolution, which opens up the avenue for us to have the conversation about driveway widening, to go through all the proper approvals and the permits. However, if they choose not to go through that route, ultimately at the end of the day, we can either issue the charge, or if needs come to must, we can remove a vehicle off of the property. We never want to do that. That is absolutely last case, last ditch effort to get it rectified, but that is something that can happen.
Follow-up question, if I can, Chair. Under the occupancy standards, so there's interior maintenance and occupancy standards, how does the city find out or investigate, and I'll ask the question, 18.1, no room or area shall be provided for sleeping purposes unless there is a minimum floor area of 7 square meters, blah, blah, blah. How do we find out that this home is violating those regulations?
Through you, Chair. So when you talk about the interior maintenance standards, that is all entirely reliant on the occupant's report to it. Like basically somebody has to report it on their behalf, or as the occupant needs to report it to us. If you decide that you would like to live in your basement, I'm not going to come and knock on your door and demand that you let me in so I can see if you're sleeping in your basement. However, if Councillor Sue is renting you her basement that does not meet this minimum floor area, you can let us know about that, and we will follow up with the property owner to get it rectified.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? See none. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 83, Pound Service Agreement with Quinte Humane Society. Resolution is that reads that pursuant to the Director of People and Corporate Services Report number DPCS-2025-02, that 2026 pre-budget approval to increase the Pound Services Agreement in the amount of $255,800 to be funded by taxation for a total budget amount of $460,000, and that in accordance with Section 30.3 sole and single sourcing approval and reporting of city's purchasing bylaw number 2023-183, council authorize a sole and single sourcing to Quinte Humane Society in the amount of up to $460,000 for pound contract services for 2026. Moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Wright Miller. Questions? Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, thank you.
You can stay seated, yeah.
I had the privilege of meeting with Craig and the CEO of the Humane Society a couple of weeks ago, and went through it before this report even come out, by the way, and went through the building, and I realized how far we are behind as a city compared to other cities. When you look at other cities are paying $445,000, $456,000. Kingston is a lot more now. Peterborough is 600 and some thousand. And when you look at the Humane Society, what we've underfunded them for the last number of years is really not fair to the Humane Society with what they do in our community. And I have to plead ignorance myself because I didn't realize how far we were behind on funding Humane Society over the years. And when it was brought to my light that we were that far on what they were doing in our community, you know, when considering what we give them, and they already pay us back 40-some thousand in taxes, doesn't seem to be a logistic enough to be really supporting them, in my estimation anyways. If we're getting $40,000 back in taxes, we better be handing up something to help them along with their expenses. When I went through their building, I don't think there was a cage empty, whether it would be cats, dogs, rabbits, whatever's out there. None of them were, and I talked to two young ladies that were screening cats, kittens coming in. They were giving them medication one at a time. Each one of them were being treated so that they either can hopefully get better, but these two girls were doing that every single day on cats that come in and dogs. So somebody's got to pay for that. And in talking to them, they'd cut back on their first range plan, was supposed to be 3-stage, and they haven't got to that 3-stage because of funding. They were going to have their own veterinarian. Well, because 3rd stage didn't go through, they have to outsource veterinarian costs. Yeah, and we look at it, and spade and neutering, $172,000. That seems like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. But when I take my cat to a vet to get spaded or neutered, it's $200 and $300 and $400. So, and they're getting a deal from these veterinarians, God bless their soul, for this. So I'm saying it's time that Belleville ante up to the Humane Society, give them the credit they deserve, give the staff that they deserve, and I'm sure a lot of those staff out there are working well beyond their means, time and effort to make that Humane Society what there is. There's lots of volunteers out there, and I know Councillor Kelly Henderson was on the board at one time, and Councillor Pat Culhane was on it. Those times really need to be picked up. If you really looked at it, we should be back paying some, but that's not what we're looking forward to. It's finally ante up, pay them a reasonable amount to do the job they do. You know, they take cats and dogs off our street, make the best life for them, hopefully to get them adopted. And when I seen the rescue dogs out there, I was astonished what they do for rescue dogs. And I know the one dog that there was a lot of publicity in the neighborhood, in the city about 2 months ago, that dog is out there. And they're treating that dog to get it calmed down so that it can get out. But short say to say, I certainly agree with them. I was happy to go out and if you haven't been out there, I encourage all of you to go out, do a tour, see what they have. There's no fluff in that place, I'll tell you that. So I'm going to, I move the motion. I hope to get enough support to move it ahead, and let's begin a new life with the Humane Society. Thank you.
Councillor Enright Miller.
Thank you, Chair, through you. I just want to speak to the importance of the City of Belleville's contract with the Humane Society, which is our only shelter in this area, and why I support the recommendation to increase the contract funding to reflect the actual services being provided and support the pre-budget approval to increase the pound service agreement. This is a cause that, in my view, must be financially corrected. The Humane Society continues to provide critical service, caring for over 600 animals from Belleville in the past year alone. Yet the city's current contract funding falls well short of covering the real costs. This gap has meant that the burden is falling on donors and fundraisers, which is not sustainable over the long term, as we all know. I have championed this cause, and I raised it at council last year, but I'm grateful to Director Doherty that this issue has been now brought forward again for correction. We only have one Humane Society, and it must be properly compensated if we are to maintain the essential services it provides to our community. I recognize that this is a difficult budget year ahead and that everyone is feeling the pressure, including those of us serving on the Finance Committee. However, in my view, this contract needs correction. This issue is not going to go away, and I will be supporting the report. Thank you.
Councillor Henderson.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. For those that don't understand, and I spent many, many years on this board, they do not receive any regular funding from the province or the feds. They basically rely on fundraising and hope that there are bequests. And it's hard with fundraising and bequests to be able to budget and know what the future looks like. I'm happy to see this come forward. I think we've been long underfunding this. I would argue maybe for decades we've been underfunding this organization, and having spent the time that I have there, I really understood that. Everybody that works there works hard. That board is very dedicated. They've been very responsible with their budgets and their budgeting, and this just helps stabilize the whole organization, and I hope everyone here can support this motion. Thank you.
Councillor Chatton, I see your hand.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I just wanted to lend my support to this as well, because the problems that we see with the increase in populations for stray cats, for dogs that need to be picked up that are wandering around on the streets, it continues to grow. It's not a problem that's going to reduce itself on its own, and we do need to make sure that we have stability for this organization to ensure that they can continue their operations. To source out or to utilize any other organizations similar to the mandate that the Humane Society has would cost far, far more than what is being asked here. And I want to say I'm very appreciative for the work that's done from the Humane Society and the directors around the board. So I just wanted to say I'm fully in support of this. Thank you.
Councillor Kelly.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I want to thank Marie Doherty, Director of People and Corporate Services, for a thorough report. I think it's important for those watching, and others might not be familiar with the role Belleville has with the Humane Society and our neighboring municipalities. Currently, there's 8 municipalities contract the services for the Quinte Humane Society with the City of Belleville, accounting for more than 40% of all animal intakes. So that's why we have invest a lot in the work of the Humane Society. And as Councillor Thompson touched on, we've really been behind the 8 ball for a long time. This conversation with the Humane Society, I can recall now, has been going on for 4 or 5 years. We saw the growth with the new building, and then you look at the numbers in the report. It says the Humane Society currently loses over $500 on every Belleville animal admitted, even with timely adoptions. So that's the reality of the Humane Society. I'm not too sure if the chair is open to a question. I see that Melanie is here. Is that something that you would entertain?
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you. A question for Melanie Cressman.
Ms. Cressman, if you'd like to come and activate the microphone.
Thank you for coming. Just a quick question would be, how have you managed with the shortfall of money? And I'm always curious about third-party fundraising events. And I believe that there's a phase 3 coming up. So I guess 3 questions right off the top. Where are we at with the phase 3?
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Well, phase 3 right now it's a discussion. It's a dream for sure, but a dream that's very, very achievable. So as you know, when the new build was put up. There was 3 phases. Phase 1 was the animal shelter. Phase 2 was our beautiful community room and some offices to house the admin team. And phase 3 would be a vet clinic. And that vet clinic, really, that is the future of where we're going with the Humane Society. And when we look to some of our sister sort of other humane societies that are around our size, we can see that having your own vet clinic, it does so much for the community. For one, it reduces costs. And I don't think that many people realize that of the 674 animals that we took from the city of Belleville, we took them to a vet. They went in our van, and we had a volunteer or a staff member drive them to the vet for their appointment and turn around and pick them up and bring them back or deliver them to a foster family. So not just reducing our own in-house services, but with our own clinic, we can offer those services to the community as well in terms of low-cost spay and neuter opportunities, perhaps vaccination clinics. So we really look forward to that. That's our vision. And as soon as we get, a sustainable funding model with what we have right now, we'll be able to move forward with those plans.
Yeah, just want to know about third-party fundraising, because this is a good opportunity for you to get that word out. There might be a corporate support or somebody that wants to do something for the Humane Society.
Absolutely, and that is always welcomed. We rely heavily on corporate partners, on individual donors, and we would be delighted for someone to call and say they're hosting a third-party fundraiser. We do have several in the community, but there's so much room for growth there. And again, as we sort of get our budget in order for next year and looking forward with our more sustainable model, we'll definitely be able to focus a little more on those sorts of opportunities.
I want to be careful here because we're in committee of the whole and not a deputation. So if it's pertaining to the agenda item on hand and any of the information, if you're looking for clarification, then I'll accept that. Councillor Chatton.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I'll run it by you first then. It was just specific to the stage 3, that compelled a question regarding the stage 3. So
That's
I'll
not
wait
part
until they
of
come back for
today's
a
report,
deputation.
so, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Ms. Cressman. Any other discussion on the matter? All in favor? That's carried.
Councillor Sue?
Absolutely, yes.
Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Councillor Brown?
Yes.
Councillor Carr?
Yes.
Councillor Chatton?
Yes.
Councillor Unright Miller?
Yes.
Councillor Henderson?
Yes.
Councillor Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Ellis?
Yes.
The motion is carried.
Moving on to consent items. I only have 2 consent items, 8B1 and 8B2, so I'm going to move a resolution that consent items 8B1 and 8B2 be approved. Mayor Ellis, second by Councillor Chatton. Any comments, questions on those? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. There's no information items. Rise and report. Resolution of the Committee of the Whole does now rise and return to Council at 4:28 p.m. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Unright Miller. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. I need a motion for bylaws 2025-157 and 2025-158 be read and passed. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Unright Miller. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. New business. Seeing any? Okay, I got some here, I guess. Again, we're here this week to announce that a bylaw, I need a motion in 2025-160, a bylaw to approve the authorization and execution of a medical service agreement between the Corporation of the City of Belleville and Dr. Ahuk be read and passed this 22nd day of September 25. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Unright Miller. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Any other new business? Motions? Councillor Thompson. Notice of motions. Councillor Thompson. I'll read your motion here. The notice of motion from July 14th. Council meeting with respect to water and sewer relief program for.
Your worship, it's been moved from notice of motion up to motions. for tonight because I presented it 2 weeks ago as a notice of motion, so it was a misprint.
Misprint on my agenda then.
Yep, it was, sir.
Okay. I guess your motions then. I don't know why I didn't get that corrected. Sorry, Councillor Thompson.
That I can explain. So the motion is the Water and Sewer Relief Program for Low-Income Seniors resolution that the notice of motion from the July 14th, 2025 council meeting with respect to Water and Sewer Relief Program for low-income seniors in the amount of 10% for resident be withdrawn, and that the staff prepare a report for council's consideration at the 2026 operating budget deliberation to implement a water and sewer relief program for low-income seniors in the amount of up to $100.
Okay, moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Chatton. Discussion to send out to budget. Councillor Carr?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Ellison, and thank you, Councillor Thompson, for bringing this forward. I think it's a great idea. I would just suggest that Councillor Thompson perhaps just change the wording a little bit to match our low-income seniors, homeowners, and ODSP recipient homeowners to mirror the program for tax credit, that we would look at a similar program for water and sewer.
Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, I agree. He got up before I did. I was going to change that to mirror the tax base refund for low-income seniors, not just for seniors, but for low-income people. And the reason I'm bringing this forward, to keep it short, is because it's going to go to budget, is that, you know, I've been very adamant over my years as a councillor on the effect of sewer and water rates for a number of people. And it wasn't that long ago that predicted our sewer rates for the next number of years is going to go up a certain percentage. And low-income people and seniors don't get that same percentage increase. So it mirrors the tax-based refund or adjustments, but sewer and water is just as effective to everybody, so I'm hoping that we can get it into the budget.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Thompson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Notice of motions. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. As my notice of motion is quite lengthy, I have provided both a soft copy and a hard copy to the clerk for the minutes. Whereas ensuring the safety of all road users, including drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians, is a common priority for all municipalities in the provincial government. Whereas reducing vehicle speeds helps create calmer, safer neighborhoods that encourage people to use active forms of transportation and be active within the communities. Whereas municipalities across Ontario are increasingly adopting provincially regulated automated speed enforcement ASE programs as a proven tool to improve road safety, particularly in school zones and community safety zones. Whereas in Belleville, automated speed enforcement cameras have reduced the number of speeding vehicles by an average of 15 to 30% across 11 community safety zones using 4 ASE cameras that are circulated every 3 to 4 months throughout those community safety zones. The reduction is measured based on data collected before, during, and subsequent to an ASE camera placement. Whereas Ontario's police leaders view ASE not as a revenue tool, but as a traffic safety tool with the purpose of deterrence and prevention, helping to change driver behaviors and reduce collisions. Whereas by complementing traditional police enforcement, ASE frees up police resources to focus on other pressing public safety priorities. Whereas nearly 3/4 of Ontario drivers support the use of ASE in targeted areas like school zones and community safety zones. And whereas municipalities are best placed to develop transportation plans based on our local knowledge and community input. Whereas the varying approaches used across municipalities presents an opportunity to promote consistency and alignment with emergency best practices province-wide. Therefore, be it resolved that the Province of Ontario, through the Ministry of Transportation, work collaboratively with municipalities that operate automated speed enforcement programs and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario to develop improvements that contribute to promoting greater consistency and alignment across the ASE program. and further that a copy of this motion be sent to the Premier of Ontario, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Minister of Transportation, our Member of Parliament Bay of Quinte, the Member of Parliament Hastings, Lennox and Addington, and to the Association of the Municipalities of Ontario Policy Centre. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brown. Announcements. Start with Councillor Enright Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a few. Sorry. The first one is the International Day of Sign Languages is tomorrow. And the City of Belleville and the Accessibility Committee is proud to recognize and celebrate the International Day of Sign Languages on September 23rd. There will be a flag raising at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center tomorrow at 9 a.m. This day is an important opportunity to highlight the significance of American Sign Language, ASL, and the rich culture of the deaf and signing community, especially here in Belleville. By raising the flag together, we are affirming our commitment to inclusion, belonging, and accessibility for all. Everyone is welcome to attend and show support for accessibility, connection, and celebration of the language as a bridge to community. And also, I would like to announce that Take Back the Night Rally and March is September 25th at 6 p.m. in Market Square, 169 Front Street. Please join the vigil as we gather in strength, unity, power, and community on this night to honor and lift up those voices that are often silenced, those who are affected by sexual abuse and violence. So please join on September 25th. And an announcement from the Quinnifield Naturalists, just a note that the planting at the Clifford Sunny Belch Park will take place again October 3rd and 4th. It's the second planting, and it will be at Sunny Belch Park at 10 a.m. on the 3rd, and they will use half of the money they raise through the spring plant sale to put in native wildflower pollinating gardens in the top center loop of the park. And on the 4th, they will add more evergreens to the park, as well as put native trees and shrubs on 3 sides of the new toboggan hill. So please, everyone that would like to join, come out and help. And if you're students that need some community hours, we'll welcome you as well. And from the Green Team, the giveaway day is on October 18th and 19th. So place your gently used unwanted items at the curb, marked as free, for others to take. Have your items to the curb at 8 a.m. and bring any leftover items back in by 8 p.m., please. Participating in the giveaway day is a simple yet impactful way to help reduce waste and foster sustainability in our community. By sharing items that we no longer need, we can significantly reduce landfill waste and help our neighbors at the same time. I encourage everyone to have a look around their homes and put any gently used or unwanted items to the curb October 18th and 19th. And last, and certainly not least, our Trash Bash is back. So if you want to bash some trash, please join us on Saturday, September 27th, 2025. You can pick up kits from City Hall leading up to that day, and you can also pick up kits on that day. They will be available at City Hall from the September 22nd to the 26th, and at the stations where trash can be dropped off at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center, the south parking lot at 265 Canifton Road. So please come out and help. Other communities that will be involved are Quinte West, the Township of Tyndonega, and Prince Edward County, all of which you can find on the website and the locations for drop-off. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Announcements, Councillor Chapman.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I just, following on the International Day of Sign Languages, I just wanted to thank the sign interpreters that we have here today. That's an incredible step forward in inclusion, and I'm really, really happy to see them here with us. I just wanted to make sure that that was noted in the minutes for today.
Thank you, Councillor Chapman.
Thank you.
Councillor Kelly.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. A few announcements today. Last Sunday was the Terry Fox Run, the 45th annual Terry Fox Run. Councillor Thompson was there. Mayor Neil Ellis said a few words on behalf of the city, and it was a record day. They had their most runners, walkers, families out ever, and over $60,000 was raised. So that was pretty special to be a part of that. Back in July at a meeting, we were having a discussion around the city of Pickering. It sent a letter to the province on increasing Ontario Works, which is currently at $8,796 for an individual, and $16,416 for Ontario Disability Support Program. That's what they make throughout the year. So individuals that are on the program. And as a group, the city decided to send a letter to our local MPPs, Tyler Alsop and Rick Brzee, and also to the Premier's office. That letter was sent from the city of Belleville to get our local MPPs to back this push that started in Pickering and is picking up some enthusiasm from other municipalities. And I received a lot of emails personally sent to me after that conversation about increasing their monthly per diem. So we sent a letter on July 23rd from the city of Belleville, and I would like to ask Deputy Clerk Kathy McPherson, have we heard back from MPP Alsop or Rick Brzee?
Through you, Your Worship, we've had no response to date.
So it's 3 months tomorrow. Also, too, here in Canada between 1867 and 1996, there were 140 federally run residential schools. So in 2015, they released in Canada the Truth and Reconciliation 94 Calls to Action. And you might remember the name Justice Murray Sinclair was behind this. So we're in the 10th year of the 94 Calls to Action. So from the mayor's office, the mayor asked me, along with Indigenous leaders from our community and our friends to the east and some city staff, to organize Truth and Reconciliation for next Tuesday here at Market Square. It starts at 11 o'clock. So National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is action number 80 of the 94 Calls to Action. So in some of the research, I wanted to find out what number are we at for Truth and Reconciliation. So we're 10 years in, and we've completed 17. 17. There's a lot of work ahead of us. Last Thursday, under the direction of the mayor's office, I had a chance to spend some time with Wilbert Miracle. Wilbert is 90 years old, just turned 90. He's from Tyendinaga. When he was very young, 6, 7 years old, along with his brother, they were taken from Tyendinaga and taken to Brantford, and the Mohawk Institute when he was 6 or 7 years old. He was there for 2 years. So he shares his story. The media department here at City Hall, we did a video with him, and we'll have that forever, for eternity. It's educational. He tells his story, and that's lived experience. So we thank Wilbert Miracle. Chief Ardon Miracle will be here. We have a firekeeper, Greg Loth. Joe Sanford's going to share kind of the spiritual meaning to arts and crafts from the Indigenous community. And Fred Leonard recently wrote a book, will be here as well, and we'll have music. So hoping the city will come out to this event, National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, 11 o'clock, wear orange this Tuesday. Thank you.
Okay, I have a couple quick announcements. I would like to take this time to recognize our Park Supervisor, Ken Horde. He's been named the 2025 Sports Turf Manager of the Year by Canadian Sportsfield Association. This title is awarded to those who not only possess exceptional skills in managing the sports field, but also demonstrate an unwavering commitment to creating the best possible playing surface for athletes. His passion, leadership, and dedication has played a huge role in our community and the reason why Belleville has some of the best sports field in the province. Congratulations, Ken, if you can relay that to him. Also last week, we also have another employee, Ren McDowell, on being chosen one of the very first 40 under 40 in the Bay of Quinte. Ren McDonald is a municipal finance leader, educator, and community volunteer with a passion for public service and teaching, a supervisor for the City of Belleville's water finance. Congratulations, we have 2 in the 40 named. With that, I have announcements. First announcement, I would like to proclaim September 23rd as International Day of Sign Language. Deaf and signing people in the City of Belleville are represented by their local organizations, including the Ontario School of the Deaf, Sir James Whitney School Alumni Association, and Belleville Association of the Deaf. and the Ontario Cultural Society of the Deaf. The United Nations resolution declares that September 23rd as International Day of Sign Language, which was officially adopted at the 72nd General Assembly on December 19, 2017. Local deaf and signing communities across Belleville wish to encourage deaf and hearing residents to participate in activities promoting deaf and sign language culture, awareness, and human rights of deaf people throughout the world. The City of Belleville celebrates the remarkable milestone of the Ontario School of the Deaf, Sir James Whitney School, 155th anniversary in Belleville. The city has stated its vision and commitment to make our society a truly accessible and inclusive one by recognizing the value and contribution that people with disabilities and deaf persons make to our workplaces, communities, and economy. To show our support, the flag will be raised at Quinte Sports and Wellness Center on September 23rd, and the Belleville sign, Street Bridge, and Fire Station Number 1 Memorial will be all lit in blue from September 22nd to 28th. Also like to proclaim September 30th National Truth and Reconciliation Day, October as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, October as National Disability Employment Awareness Month, October 1st is National Seniors Day, October 2nd as Wrongful Conviction Day, October 6th as DCD Development Coordination Disorder Awareness Week, October 8th as Dyslexia Awareness Day, and finally October 9th as World Pandas Awareness Day. With that, I need a confirmation bylaw 2025-159, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council meeting held on September 22nd, 25th. Resolution that bylaw number 25-159 be read and passed. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Wright Miller. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. And motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Carr. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.